For this screencast, I'm going to show you how to make a simple relational database in FileMaker. So let's start by creating our new database. We're going to create a new empty database. We don't want to use a template. Click OK. So let's give it a name and we'll just call it addresses. We'll make a simple address book. Now, what we're going to do with this database is create a database of companies. Each company can have more than one employee, so we want to be able to search for individual employees within given companies. So we'll start off with a company, and we'll create a simple text field with the name company. Now we'll have the basic details on that company, so let's put some address fields in. So we'll start with street. Now to create, we can just press return instead of clicking create each time. Street, area, postcode, and country. We'll also put a couple of other details in. So let's say URL and switchboard phone. Now we're going to create a relational database. We need to relate the individual people within that company to the company. We can do that in two ways. We can either do it via the name of the company, but the problem with that, if you might have two companies with the same name, or a company might change its name. So what we're going to do is to create a unique ID for each company that we can then relate those names to. So to do that, we'll create a new field, which we'll call company ID. Create the new field, and then what we'll do is click on the options. We're going to give each one an automatic serial number, and let's call that CI for company ID, and we'll give it 0001. Now here it is increment by. That means every time we create a new company record, the ID is going to increment by 1. So it'll be CL001, 002, 003, and so on. So that's our very simple information on the company. Now what we need to do is to create the names table. So we click on tables, call this names, call create. Now if we click back on fields, we can start putting our information on the names. So let's start with first name, return, surname, return, and what information do we want? Let's say we want telephone, email, and position. So now what we need to do is to relate these names back to the company by using this unique field, company ID. So in names, we'll create another field called company ID, and that's all we need to do at this stage. Now, click on relationships, and we can relate one to the other. Let's make this a tiny bit bigger. There we go. So all we do is we drag from the address company ID to the names company ID, and that has created the relationship between the two. We double click here in the middle, we have options, and what we want to be able to do here is to add new names from a single company screen. So we click on this box here, allow creation of records in this table, click OK, and click OK again. So what we've got now is a very simple layout which FileMaker has created for us with the company, the various bits of information about it, and what we're going to do next is to add the names here below. So to do that, we click on View Layout Mode, which enables us to edit the screen, make the body a bit larger, and now we choose the Portal tool and drag it across the screen. We were going to put our name, so we want to show related records from names. Click OK. What information do we want to appear there? Well, let's have first name, first name, surname, position, telephone, and email. And there are the fields. Now let's put the titles in. So we can start with some text, and we'll say first name. By option drag, I'll get something of the same style and type size. First name, surname, option drag again, holding the shift key to keep it on the same in the same position, telephone, and email. And let's take all of those, shift clicking, so we can select multiple. Press Command Shift B to make them all bold. Move that a couple of ticks to the right using the arrow key, and now press back to browse mode. We want to save those changes. And there we have our very simple layout. Now let's put a bit of data in. So companies, we call it Test Co, the street, London, W1A, country United Kingdom, Testco.uk, 02012341234. Now we can start adding our names. So let's say start with the first name. That's our first name. Now we can start adding more names. And this starts to be our list. Now, what we can see here is the names are unlikely to be that long. Emails might well be longer. So we can go back to layout mode, view layout mode, make these feel slightly smaller, drag this over, always pressing shift to constrain, position over here, telephone and email, which we can make a little bit bigger. We'll tidy these up. View browse mode. Let's do it automatically. Now we can add our new company. And again, we can put more names in. And that is now a very simple relational database. FileMaker has already automatically created the two tables for us, so we've also got one for the names, which we just created here. Now, what we can do here, if we want to, is add the information. All this table contains is the name, the phone number, the email, but not the company information for this person. If we want to add the company down here, we can easily do that. But we go back to layout. We can drag the field, which one? This one here. Drag it down here. And this time we want to relate back to the address fields. Take the company. And now we have our three names with the company information there. The advantage being that if we do decide to go back and change the name of one of these companies, let's change Big Co to Bigger Co. This relationship stays the same. Frank Proud is still working for Bigger Co. And if we go back to names, and we find Frank Proud, there he is, and his company has automatically been updated to Bigger Co.